Yo, what is up guys? Delboy here, aka Blue Collar Sports TV. Hope you guys are doing well. A quick preview and prediction for Alexander Povetkin versus Michael Hunter. This fight goes down on December the 7th, and it goes down on the Andy Ruiz versus Anthony Joshua rematch undercard. Obviously this card takes place in Saudi Arabia. I've got to say, I really like this fight. I think it's a really good competitive matchup, good clash of styles. And yeah, I think this is a great matchup for both guys, Michael Hunter, he's looking to cement himself as a top 10 heavyweight. A win over Alexander Povetkin would do that, so he's got incentive here. And as for Alexander Povetkin, he's looking to get back into the mix after his 2018 loss to Anthony Joshua. If he were to beat a young guy like Michael Hunter, it would make him a more credible option or opponent for the elite level heavyweights. So both guys have incentive here. I like the style matchup and I think it's a good fight. So yeah, I'm looking forward to it. Let's briefly run through the tail of the tape. We will start with Alexander Povetkin. He has a record of 35 wins, 2 defeats, 0 draws. 24 of his 35 wins coming by way of knockout. Michael Hunter has a record of 18 wins, 1 defeat, 0 draws. 12 of his 18 wins come by way of knockout. Alexander Povetkin is an orthodox fighter. He's 40 years old. He is listed as 6'2" with a 75-inch reach, whereas Michael Hunter is an orthodox fighter. He is 31 years old. He is also 6'2" and he has a reach of 79.5 inches. So despite these guys being the same height, Michael Hunter is a lot longer. He actually has a 4.5 inch reach advantage. Could that be a factor in this fight? Potentially. Also, as we can see by the tail of the tape, Michael Hunter is much younger. He is 9 years Alexander Povetkin's junior, so he is the younger, fresher guy going into this fight. He seems to be improving fight by fight, whereas Povetkin is coming towards the end of his career. He's had a tough career. However, he still has that experience. And that is obviously a positive in Povetkin's favour in regards to the experience, but I'm not sure whether it's enough to offset the younger guy in Michael Hunter. In regards to the style clash, I think it's intriguing. I really do. I can see ways both guys win this fight. And if I were to tell you what I believe are the two most likely outcomes of this fight, I would say either Michael Hunter on points or Alexander Povetkin by knockout. From a style perspective, I do believe Michael Hunter has the ability and tools to beat Povetkin, especially a 40-year-old Povetkin. Povetkin in the past has actually struggled with shorter heavyweights. You go back to the Ruslan Shagayev fight, for example, the Marco Huck fight, for example, and even the Eddie Chambers fight. And Eddie Chambers is the best kind of gauge going into this bout. Eddie Chambers was a little bit similar to Michael Hunter, but in my opinion, not as good. Hunter, for me, has better punch variety, he throws better combinations, he's got quicker hands, quicker feet, and in my opinion, Michael Hunter is a better fighter than Eddie Chambers. And Eddie Chambers gave a prime Povetkin problems years ago, back in 2008. This version of Povetkin for me is long in the tooth and he's seen better days. And I believe the style of Hunter will give him problems. I mean, even against Hughie Fury, a fight that wasn't really fought at a high pace, Povetkin was actually gassing in that fight. He was blowing quite heavily after round 4. And against a guy like Michael Hunter, who's nowhere near as passive as Hughie Fury, a guy who's going to make you work, he's going to land leather on you, especially to the body, I'm not sure how Povetkin actually deals with that, to be honest with you. Not this 40-year-old Povetkin anyway. I really do believe he will struggle with the style of Michael Hunter. I just believe Povetkin will have trouble outpointing Hunter in a lot of rounds. I believe the variety, the movement, the hand speed, the foot speed, and the punch volume of Hunter will give an older version of Povetkin problems. I really do. And like I mentioned, the bodywork of Michael Hunter is underrated. You know, he was doing good body work against Sergey Kuzmin. That slowed Kuzmin down. He was doing good body work against Martin Bakole. He stopped Bakole late on. The body work of Michael Hunter is also another thing to consider in this fight, especially against an older Povetkin who, you know, he's never had the best gas tank, but as he gets older, that's only going to get worse. So the body work of Michael Hunter could also be key in this fight. And quite frankly, I just believe this fight is favourable to Michael Hunter in 2019. You know, Hunter has most of the advantages going into this bout. Like I said, he's younger, he's fresher, he's longer, he's been more active, and he has more momentum by his side. And yeah, Povetkin has seen better days. So most factors in this fight do favour Michael Hunter, in my opinion. And quite frankly, I think the promotion would rather Michael Hunter win. So you've got that to consider as well. But, you know, despite having said all that, I don't really believe this is a fight Povetkin can't win. I still believe Povetkin has a chance in this one. You know, he certainly got a good puncher's chance. And Povetkin, for me, over the years, has always been underrated in terms of his boxing ability, but this guy is an extremely good counterpuncher, especially on the front foot. And listen, Michael Hunter, like I said, he's got a lot of attributes in his favour in this bout. He's a really good boxer with great combinations, great hand speed, etc. However, he isn't infallible. He does make a lot of mistakes. He switches off at times, and against a guy like Povetkin, you know, that could be to your detriment. You know, for example, if you watch his fight with Sergey Kuzmin, at times, you know, that fight was really under his control. He was doing what he wanted, but occasionally he would switch off and he would get clipped with a silly shot. In the Kuzmin fight, you know, the left hook was a shot. He was getting caught by a little too much. So sometimes maybe he would set his feet that second too long, he'd throw a lazy jab, and Kuzmin would come back with a counter left hook. You know, things like that. He does make sloppy defensive mistakes. Sometimes he boxes really well, but there are times in rounds where he isn't always defensively responsible. And let's be honest, yes, Michael Hunter's a boxer, yes, he's got quick hands and quick feet, but he does take risks. He does throw combinations, and sometimes he'll sit in the pocket that second too long where he can be hit. We saw that against Kuzmin. We saw that against Martin Bakole. And if Michael Hunter follows that same trend and gives Povetkin those opportunities, there's a chance he could get knocked out here. I do believe even a 40-year-old Alexander Povetkin is a lot more dangerous than Martin Bakole or Sergey Kuzmin. So for me, you know, Michael Hunter will need to be a lot more switched on in this fight. No more unnecessary risks, because Povetkin is a guy who can make you pay. Don't sit in the pocket too long, you know. Don't throw that lazy jab out there, which can be countered by the left hook, because Hunter does that a lot. Sometimes his jab is nice, quick and authoritative, and he'll bring his jab hand back nice and quick. Other times he'll throw the jab out there and he'll bring it back low, and again, in those opportunities, he needs to watch out for that left hook. And yeah, at times in this fight, I do believe he will need to stand there and let go of combinations, but pick your spots. Don't be greedy. Don't sit in the pocket too long, because it just takes one Povetkin left hook or overhand right and you could be toast. You know, even Povetkin's overhand right is extremely effective and it's very sneaky. He's actually got one of the most underrated overhand rights in the division, to be quite honest. You know, Povetkin, his technique of throwing that shot makes it very hard to see coming. It's not telegraphed at all. I can't really explain the technique he uses, but the best way I can describe it, it's almost like he's pitching a cricket bowl or a baseball bowl where you're throwing the ball and he kind of punches in the same motion with his overhand right, and it makes it really hard to read. It makes it really hard to see coming, and that's another shot Michael Hunter really needs to look out for, especially when he's throwing combinations, because when Hunter does throw combinations, sometimes he'll square up and his shots are a little bit wider. That overhand right could get to the target first if Michael Hunter is opening up and throwing combinations, Povetkin could punch in between Michael Hunter in those moments. So he really needs to be careful. For me, this fight is about Michael Hunter making the right choices. If he makes the right choices, he wins the fight. If he makes the wrong choices and takes unnecessary risks, there's a big chance he could get knocked out here. So I believe it's a fascinating fight, I really do. Like I said, I believe the two most likely outcomes are Povetkin by knockout or Michael Hunter on points. I would be surprised if Povetkin could outbox Hunter to win a points verdict. I don't really see that happening in 2019. I do believe Povetkin is a very good boxer, but I don't believe he's got the output or stamina to outbox Michael Hunter. And I don't believe Hunter knocks out Povetkin, unless it's like accumulation maybe. I don't see Michael Hunter cleaning Povetkin out. So, I'm leaning towards either Povetkin by knockout or Hunter on points, but you guys want an official pick. So we will go with a Michael Hunter points victory, where he has a few scares along the way, but I think it's a really good fight. Credit to both guys for taking it. And yeah, the winner is in a good position. So yeah, really like the fight. Looking forward to it. Share your thoughts below. Peace.